Okay, hi everyone. I hope you can all hear me and see me okay. Um, I'll just start my slideshow here. So you might have seen in the chat there, my name is Deirdre and I am a fourth year student, a final year student on the Bedlan course. Bedlan as we call it, Bachelor of Education is or otherwise called Bachelor of Education in Gaeilge and French or German or Spanish. Um, as I go along, if any questions pop into mind, you can pop them into the chat there and I'll come back to them at the end. So hopefully this will tell you a bit more about the course. So as you can see there, Bachelor Idachis in Gaeilge agus Frankish, Garmonish no Spanish. And the code for this, the CAO code is DC013. Our programme chairs then are, which you'll get to know if you do this course in DCU, Dr. Orna Farrell and Dr. Sean McRishtard, and they are the best people to contact if you would like to find out more about the course. And their emails are there, and I'll also put their emails up again at the end. So if you want to jot down a note of that, they're handy to have. So obviously this course is delivered at DCU. It's actually delivered by two of the faculties at DCU, so it's a cross-faculty course, which is unusual in DCU. So we're quite lucky. Obviously partly delivered by the DCU Institute of Education because we are becoming teachers, and also in conjunction with the Faculty of Humanities and Social Sciences, and that's the languages part. So in there you've got Fiontar and Scoil na Gaeilge, which is your Gaeilge, and SALIS, or the School of Applied Language and Intercultural Studies, which is your French or German or Spanish, whichever one of them you choose to do. So for your entry requirements then, there's about 40 places on the course, so it's nice and small. There's about 30 people in my whole year, so we know each other very well, and it's really nice. It's almost just like a class from school. The important thing that you need is you need a H3 in Gaeilge and your modern foreign language, be that French or German or Spanish. So a H3 in both, and that's important. And you can see the points there from 2022 and 2023. So the structure of the course then, the main points to be clear about. It is a BEd, a Bachelor of Education. It's a level 8 degree and it's 4 years long. So it's what we call a concurrent teaching degree. And what that means is that you are doing the learning how to teach and learning your subjects at the same time. So that by the end of the 4 years, you're fully qualified to teach. As opposed to some people might go down the route of doing an arts degree of their subjects and then going on to do a professional master's in education, which allows them to teach. But this way you're doing it in conjunction, concurrently, you're doing the two together, so you're fully qualified after 4 years. Every student studies Gaeilge, so you have to do Gaeilge, and then you choose your French or German or Spanish as your second language. And I put in an important point there. You will indicate which language you are doing at the DCU registration stage, so not at the CAO stage. You do that at the DCU registration stage when you're hopefully registering to do this course at DCU. And as we are a 4-year course, and that's full accreditation from the Teaching Council. So you're fully ready to go after 4 years, no further training. So the course is, the way we look at the course is broken down into 4 main parts. So you have obviously your languages, which is important. And of course they are your Gaeilge and your French, German or Spanish. Then you have your professional studies. So that looks at stuff like, how do we teach languages? How do young people learn languages? The processes in the brain that occur when we're teaching languages and how we can use our knowledge of that to better teach languages. Assessment, how we assess, how best to assess, different ways of assessment, looking outside the box when it comes to assessment. Then you have inclusion. So how do you ensure that all students in your classroom are included, have equal access to the learning? Technology. So we all know now with technology, it can't be separated from education now. They go together, and how we can use technology and implement it meaningfully in the language classroom. And then in final year, you will also have a research project, which is really exciting. I'm currently working on mine. So you pick an area of language learning that and a research project about it. So that's really interesting as well. Then down in the corner here, you have your foundation disciplines. So that's your sociology, psychology, and philosophy of education. Really important as well, looking at, again, how people learn, the impact of society on education, and that kind of thing. Really interesting as well. And then obviously a big chunk of the course is your school placement. So the practical, getting out into the classroom, learning on the job, that kind of thing. You will have micro teaching, which is where you, in first year it's done, you teach your peers, you learn together, do short little lessons at first, get to grips with things. Then you will go out into schools, secondary schools in the country, and you will do observations. So you will observe experienced, qualified teachers at their job and learn from them. Then you will obviously have your own placement. So you will go out into schools, undertake classes, plan lessons, and you're reflecting, important as well, reflecting and improving on your practice all the time. So just a quick look there, an example of year one modules. Loads of different things going on. You're kind of dipping your toe into everything, getting a taste of everything. So you have your education theories, the study of language, you have all your Gaeilge, the Teanga itself, the Filiocht. You're looking a bit at applied linguistics, you've got your micro teaching, and then you've got your language as well. So if you're doing French, you would do French language and French society and literature, and the same for German and Spanish. Sciil and Teanga are obviously very important. And the language modules are about 50% of the course, and the other 50% is obviously your education modules. To develop your language skills, obviously you'll go to your lectures, assignments, work with your peers, but there's also then a Gaeltacht placement and an Erasmus placement. And these are important in order to satisfy the teaching council requirements. So for you to qualify as a language teacher, you obviously have to do this degree at DCU, but you also have to do these things that the teaching council stipulate. We'll go into them each in more detail now. So the first thing you have is your Gaeltacht internship. And basically what that is students go and live in a Gaeltacht setting of their choice. So any Gaeltacht setting, any Gaeltacht in the country, for a minimum of 4 weeks. So you live there and you work there. So you don't study as such, you have to work. These 4 weeks do not have to be consecutive. So for example, you might do 2 weeks at the end of first year and you might do another 2 weeks at the end of second year. And that's fine as long as it's 4 weeks in total by the end of the course. The important thing about this is it's completed outside of semester time. So it's not done during semester time, during the academic year. It's done outside of that. And as I have there, generally, students tend to go to a Gael Colosda and work as a kinnera or work as a in the shoppa or something like that for the summer. I personally went to the Gaeltacht at the end of first year, or at the end of second year, first year was COVID, at the end of second year, worked there as a kinnera for 6 weeks, loved it, and I've gone back last summer and going back again next summer. And that's the case for a lot of other people in my class. And it's really good for developing your language skills, and it's a great experience. The second thing then is your Erasmus. So this is important for your modern foreign language, for your French or your German or your Spanish. And the second semester of third year, you go abroad. So you're in college for the first semester of third year in DCU, and then you go abroad for the second semester, so January to May. And you or there like you would if you were a student at that university. And you apply to your preferred university, and you go over there. So I am back from that. I went obviously a year ago now. It'll last January, and I went to France, North France, and was there for 5 months. And it's a fantastic opportunity. You really develop your language skills, and you really get to live the living culture of the country, and it really enriches your experience of the language. Then, obviously, the big thing with the course is Sochar Conscuelia, or your school placement. So I have just started my final year placement after the Christmas holidays. It's about a 10 to 12 week placement in final year, depending on the academic calendar. But to go back to the start, when you start in first year, like I mentioned earlier, you'll do your micro teaching, where you'll work with your peers, you'll teach each other, get to grips with things. Then you move into the second year, it's an engagement period where you go into a school, and you also do a 4-week online placement where you get to practice your digital skills, get to grips with Google Classroom, Teams, all the rest, because as we know from COVID, we have to be really able to switch from one to the other. Year 3, then you'll go out for 7 weeks into a school, and year 4, 10 to 12 weeks, depending on the academic calendar. But again, school placement, really important. It's the real thing, and you really get to apply what you've learned in college to the actual classroom. I always just like to mention as well, it's a question that often comes up because we're cross-faculty, what course is the campus delivered on? What campus is the course delivered on? And it's actually across all 3, because we are cross faculty, and that's really our audience, all 3 campuses, so it's really nice. Just to mention as well, this is a great course in general for career prospects, because you have the languages, the world is your oyster. Obviously, you will be a qualified secondary school teacher of your languages, but there's also great opportunities to go into other sectors, like, for example, translating or interpreting. Huge demand for that in the Irish government and the European Union. Media, culture organisations, linguistic organisations, and the tourism sector. So it's really good to keep that in mind as well. You effectively have a triple degree of your Gaeilge, your modern foreign language, and your education. I'm going to leave it there because we are short on time. I'll just mention for a second my own student experience. So this is a busy course. It is busy. There's lots of assignments, lots of continuous assessment, but if you stay on top of them, you'll be fine. It's busy but manageable, and it's great to be done after the 4 years. And we've really nice lecturers, nice small classes. And if you love the languages, if you want to be a teacher, then this really is the one for you. So I'll leave it there, and please, if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat. Thank you.